Time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Happy to be joined now by Briony Douglas, who, by the way, you'll get a chance to meet this weekend down at TD Place starting Thursday to Sunday. She is an artist who's made an amazing sculpture. Briony, welcome to the show. Happy to have you. I can't wait to talk about this.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and chat about this.
Okay, so for those who don't know, we're going to show a picture of it right now. You have made, I thought was when they told me, a goalie mask. I'm like, oh, cool. This is the ginormous, because this is a car.
I like to go big.
Yeah. How did you come up with this? And secondly, how big is this thing?
So this was about 6 feet long. And the reason I would have gone even bigger, but we had a certain amount of hockey sticks and I had to do the math and figure out how many we could actually fit into that size.
This is all right. So for those who don't know, it's all made of PWHL hockey sticks. Can you tell us the story behind the sticks?
Absolutely. So I think this is probably the most special piece I've ever made. And I'm very lucky to have made a lot of cool pieces. But what's so special about this is every single stick on this sculpture is from a player in the PWHL. So all 6 inaugural teams donated about 10 or 20 sticks each. And then from there, we just kind of went to town.
It's probably worth like $17 million in sticks.
You know, there's a lot of people commenting that. But, you know, it lives forever.
It's amazing. All right. So I don't know how you design something like this. You're an artist, so my head is completely wired to yours. I'm too OCD. How do you come up with this?
I'm very lucky that I'm at a point in my career now where a brand or someone will come to me and say, hey, here's what we're doing. What thoughts do you have? So usually I draw something bananas out and then it gets approval. And then I sit there and I'm like, oh, shoot, how do you actually make that? So this was a fun one. I've never cut sticks like this before. It was an interesting learning curve, but a lot of fun.
All right. So were you a hockey fan before?
Yes. So I have been a hockey fan since I was little. Some of my biggest memories are with my dad telling us to keep it down because the hockey game is on, which is kind of funny. But you know, we grew up Leafs fans. Felix Poppin. I remember like having his jersey and not as much as I used to be, but very much back into it with the PWHL now.
That's pretty cool. Did you ever play?
No, I play a lot of sports. I'm not that coordinated.
All right. Is this the first crossover you've had with like a sports organization?
No. I'm very lucky to have worked a lot with a lot of different organizations. MLSE was actually one of the first brands and organizations to hire me as an artist, probably like 7 years ago. So it's very cool. Lots in the Formula One world too, which we love.
Yes, there. By the way, if you're looking at her Instagram account, there's an F1 car that's stunning. Anyway, we'll move on before I get carried away. Can you walk us through the creative process of how you come up with the conceptualization of, and this is called, by the way, the piece is the Inaugural Six, which you've kind of alluded to, being that it was the first season, and how much input collaboration did you have with Royale and the PWHL?
Honestly, Royale was an absolute dream to work with. They are one of the main sponsors of the league. And, you know, often when you're making art with brands, there's like a fine line and a little bit of a dance of how much logos are going on the art. Yeah. They really were like, let's highlight these women. Let's highlight the path that they've gone on to get to where they are today. And like, it was a dream. They were very open to my ideas. And just great to work with.
Are you discussing more PWHL artwork?
I mean, that would be great. I'm like subconsciously keep pushing out on my socials that it should live in the Hockey Hall of Fame because like it's the Inaugural Six. Like, so, yeah. I mean, that would be a dream come true.
Yeah. And I don't think you said it. I've read it and that's why I'm curious. Every stick has a player's name on it.
Yeah. So every single stick has one of their names on it, which is like really special and cool. And then the few players that I did meet as we were touring with the sculpture actually came up and found their stick. I will say one thing that I didn't realize is how differently like everyone wraps their tape with around their stick. And so like
Yeah.
they were able to decipher what was what, which was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? So they were just like, oh, I could tell by the tape job it's my stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
And the
Um,
goalie, the Victoire goalie, she was so lovely, and she was so impressed that we picked that specific cage for it. So I got the goalie's approval, so that's cool.
yeah. It's always neat when when you do something for people and they can appreciate what it is. And so it is
Yeah.
an amazing piece of work. How do you transport that thing?
It's actually quite light. So as you know, hockey sticks are super light. What was
Yeah.
the heavier part is we essentially like, do you remember those dinosaurs that were like 3D wood puzzles that we just kind of slat together when we were younger?
Yes.
We essentially did that, but with the goalie mask, and then stuck the sticks onto it.
Cool. It is cool. It'll be on display at TD Place this weekend, Thursday and Saturday. The PWHL, the Charge play. You will be there.
I will not be there for this
Okay.
one. I'm actually heading down to Vancouver to photograph the Terry Fox family. So also very exciting.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It will be on display though. People can show up, take pictures. It still has to be neat. I know you're an artist, and so you're used to having your stuff on display, but when people come and start taking pictures and love being around your work.
Well, there's nothing like that feeling, especially with little kids. And like, I'm sure you've been to a PWHL game now. But there's so many little girls that are like, I'm going to play in this one day. And then you see them going up and looking at the sticks. And like, I just don't think there's anything more pure and inspiring and exciting than that. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll never get used to it. It's very neat.
That's great. Briony Douglas, we appreciate your time. Great job on the mask and the other stuff you've done. I look forward to seeing your work some more. What would be your goal, by the way? To have a piece in like the Louvre? Look, what's the goal?
I don't know about the Louvre. I just like, for me, making art is really at the end of the day just to make people happy. Like a lot of my stuff is nostalgic, a lot of bright colors. So like, it's not necessarily the Louvre, it's making art accessible to everybody, right? So yeah.
I draw stickmen. That's about as far as it gets for me. So
Hey, stickmen are great.
I appreciate your work. We'll chat soon. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.